Yes, sir. Peace, family. So we're back once again with it, and we're joined with another special guest, Kofi The Visualizer.
What up,
My,
what up, what up, what up?
yeah, what's good, B?
Yeah, I'm here, fam, man. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, you already know, man. So, it's definitely, been good to reconnect on this forum because I know that you're a brother that's done a lot of stuff before, like vlogs, interviews, well established in the media, your own right and regard. So, and not only that, I know when you speak, it comes from a real place, and people do listen to what you got to say and stuff as well. So, we got a few interesting topics to kind of look at and discuss. One of them being a hot topic at the minute. Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and the
Yeah.
whole royal family fiasco. So I'm gonna start off with this clip, and this is a clip that was sent to us. Now, this was taken from an interview with Meghan Markle and Oprah Winfrey, which I believe is due to be broadcasted in the UK at some point soon. Hasn't been broadcasted in the UK yet, but has caused major waves all over the internet, social media. People in the UK have been talking about it, including the royal family, which we'll get to after this. So let's check out this little clip.
He didn't want to make Archie a prince.
But I can give you an honest answer. In those months when I was pregnant, all around this same time, he won't be given security. He's not going to be given a title. And also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
Who is having that conversation? There is a conversation. Hold up.
There's
Stop
several
right now.
there are several conversations.
So yeah, then we see that was a short clip which has gone viral on the internet with Meghan Markle on the Oprah Winfrey show talking about her son, I guess, being snubbed by the royal family. I mean, what's your thoughts on this situation? I know you must have heard a lot about it.
Yeah, man. I've been seeing it all day, on the social media feeds and things like that. Do you know what I mean? And the thing to me is, like, I don't know why people are even shocked about things like this anyway, coming from the royal family. When you trace back their history, they've got a history of practicing white supremacy. And this is another thing. Sometimes you want to get away from words like racism and focus on who is doing the racism. And sometimes it's white supremacy. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's the thing with the royal family. You know how they like their bloodlines to be. They like things to be pure English or pure, well, I wouldn't say pure English because they ain't pure English themselves, but they like that pure white kind of thing in running through their family. So it's no surprise to people like us, I guess, but some people are shocked by it.
I think, what's been concerning to a lot of people, especially within the UK, is they've seen Harry and Meghan, leave and abscond the royal family without people not necessarily knowing too much about what's happened. It was just like a big thing in the press. And now there's sort of been this big media blowout with accusations of, racism and stuff like that. And as you said, when we talk about racism, as Dr. Francis Cresswell, broke it down before, we do know it functions under a principle of white supremacy. Now, we also have heard what she's alluded to was like colorism and stuff as well, that they've been worried about how dark their child might be, which I don't personally see being that possible.
Well, nah. I mean, I'm sure I've seen a picture of Archie today even, and I was like, what, they were concerned about him? Like,
yeah, I'll put it out there and say, to be fair, I'm quite versed in what's going on, but I'm not like somebody who's all up in the royal family's business or anything. So I don't really know too much of what some of these people look like till I see them in the press on certain things. So I couldn't really say I know what their kid looks like and something. I'm not like where a lot of people are celebrity craze when it comes to them. But looking at their genetics, even as we see this picture here now with she quite light-skinned mixed and stuff as well, which we're going to get into. I wish I had a clip from Godfrey, which I was watching him earlier, and he was speaking about something similar, just where it feels as though she had a wake-up call within, maybe thinking she wasn't going to be perceived in that sort of way. There's an old movie back in the day, slightly off topic, but it fits in, called Imitation of Life. And it's an old black and white movie.
Someone mentioned it to me today, but carry on.
Yeah, and and it's about it's about a woman, and she's a single mother raising a child, black woman, You know, her daughter's black, but she's very light skinned. You know,
Mhm.
but they're growing up in the South or somewhere, or either in the South or New York, wherever it was. But you know, the mom, she works for this white lady, and to be fair, the white lady was nice to them. They weren't like, she didn't like, you know, treat them bad or anything like that. So, but she, you know, she work in that kind of position, you know, sort of the help, so to speak. You know, her daughter's feeling the pressures of growing up as a black girl, you know what I mean? But because she's light skinned, she can pretend not to be black when she goes to school and stuff like that.
Okay, she can blend.
Yeah. So when she goes to school and all that stuff, she got a different sort of character. And, you know, she really loved her mom. Obviously, she grew up with her mom. Her mom was like, not like the stereotypical Aunt Jemima type, but you know, the black auntie, the black mama, grandmama type, you know. So
Yeah.
she had that relationship with her mom where her mom had raised her and brought her up and reared her, but when she's stepping out into the world, she wasn't ready to face the harsh treatments and stigma that the white society was going to throw at her. So she, you know, she opted to pretend to be white and stuff. And, you know, she had a boyfriend. He was like one of the popular guys in school, like a college jock or something. And I think one day or something, the mom either came to the school or something happened. And, you know, they found out her mom was black. And, you know, when he found out, you know, he beat the hell out of her and stuff, you know, because, yeah, he was, well, he didn't want to be the one to be fooling around with, you know, a nigga, as they say. But anyway, so, you know, the movie now, it continues on from that, because, you know, there's a lot going on. It just depicted her struggles with what's going on and stuff, and then she becomes estranged from her mom, ends up into like prostitution on the streets and certain stuff, and you know, in the end, her mom dies before I think they can actually reconcile, and you know, she goes back and she's kind of caught up by it. But you know, you'd think, you know, I'm going back some years now. Like I said, it's a black and white movie, but it's one of those ones. I don't think there's like a climatic end where you think she's learned something by the end of it. It's just sort of like, it just shows you the story. And then, because it kind of ends on a somber note, like I said, with the mom dying and stuff, you don't get that reconciliation or nothing like that. By the time she kind of comes into her own sort of realization, time has sort of passed, and you know, a lot of things have happened. So it's kind of a sad movie in a sense, you know.
Do you know, I can kind of see a bit of tragedy in this story as well. But again, I'm like you, I don't really follow like celebrities or the royal family and stuff like that. But it just seems to have a bit of a tragic tale to it, man. I don't know, and I kind of feel as if, like you say, with the wake up call, I feel like Meghan might have thought, like, because there's no way she could have gone into this family not knowing that, you know, they have these kind of racial tendencies. Like, I just can't see how she would have not known that. And I kind of feel like she felt like in the movie that because she was, you know, as light as she is, that she could get a pass or get a blend, you know what I mean? And I feel like it was a bit of a harsh reality for her to not have that blend. So, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there could be some credence to that. I mean, we're going to get into this article in a bit, which is being reported on mainstream media, which said the royal family have chimed in, you know, on their concerns about this report. Now, one of the things that was aforementioned in the Oprah Winfrey interview was that there was some worries and concerns about the skin tone of Archie. It was, yeah. So now, you know, that levies to suggest the idea, because this is something that, you know, we've spoke about this before in the past, just the notion of colorism and how, as you said, we live in a society that often it can be so hypocritical because it professes for racism not to exist, and, you know, white supremacy and things of that nature not to exist. But we live in a society that exudes models of colorism and, you know, social constructs within that. So, you know, my whole thing is, because I see a lot of people even nowadays and they say it's 2021. How can people still be racist, or I don't see color? And I think it's virtually impossible for anybody at this stage of the game to say that they don't see color. You know, black people included. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means you have a set of eyes that you know, you're not colorblind. I know there's some people are colorblind, but you know, and that's okay if you are. But if you're able to see, you've got the vision to see color. Now, I'm not saying that should denote how you treat a person, but I think the notion where people say they don't see color is erroneous to begin with.
I think it's a bit of a cop out. I think sometimes.
Yeah,
and sometimes it's a bit offensive because it's like, if someone says to me they don't see color, it's like, so you don't see me. Like, I don't know.
Well,
like,
how
can you not see that I'm different to you? And even just our cultural differences or whatever, like, you can see these things. But, you know, I guess because... Go to you, fam.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I'll pick it up.
I mean, I guess because now, you know, we live in a time now where a lot of our cultures are sort of blended and things like that. I think that's where people start to try and say, well, you know, there's no difference, we're all the same and rare. But to say you don't see color to me is just, I don't know, it's a bit dismissive of the issue.
Yeah, it is dismissive, and as you said, it does bring a sense of negation. That was what I was going to say. It kind of negates the individual in question. But you just made a point where you said we live in a society where we're quite blended. Now, I would argue that in a lot of ways. I do feel as though we live in a society where we're all together, and there's a lot of, you know, multicultural communities and stuff in one sense, you know, especially within like certain suburban and city areas and stuff. But I feel as though people are still divided within their cultural groups and stuff. I mean, your culture gonna be your way of life, and everybody's got a different way of life, as we see in society now. Society is pushing a whole different way of life for everybody right now, which is, you know, vaccines and masks and lockdown and other stuff, you know, which we've seen since the horrors of COVID-19. You know, however, there's people that opt for a different life. Just like within that, there's people that may say, okay, well, I believe in this God, for instance, so that's my way of life. I believe in this God, so that brings their kind of culture. I say that to say this because I still feel there's so much division amongst people, and I don't necessarily see like there's so much out there that's gonna change it or people trying to change it. But I think for an example of like this, where this is the, you know, the royal family of the UK, which is often touted in the press, where people say this is a multicultural place and, you know, everybody gets a fair shake and is treated the same.
Yeah.
An opportunity like this, which could have been an example to sort of show that, we've sort of seen it go completely the other direction. Now you say this, you say this isn't a surprise, which, you know, some people do say, because we've seen in the past, you know, rest in peace to the Princess Diana and Dodi Al-Fayed. So, and there's been numerous reports and investigations and stuff done into just that case and what happened and stuff. And needless to say, it was a terrible set of circumstances. So it's one of those things where we feel as though there's people that feel, I guess, like you said earlier, when it comes to the royal family, would they ever accept, like, you know, different people to be involved? And then does that then suggest the same sort of mentality for the general population of people that live within the UK? Because if we're governed and you know, ruled quote unquote by these monarchs, especially, you know, people that are indicative of that cultural group, you know, do people have that sort of same way of thinking?
I think definitely so, because as you said, man, like, you know, this could have been an opportunity for the UK to show how they're more accepting of other cultures, and for the royal family to feel like that as well and to show that as well. And as you say, it just went completely the other way. Particularly with the media, man. Like, I feel like just the way that they received Meghan into the family compared to, like, say, Kate, you know, they've been going at homegirl since the beginning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which again makes me feel like when it gets to a certain point in a game, like, where are you surprised at? Because, you know, if they've been doing this from the beginning, then, you know, there can't be no surprise.
The media's, I know, I would say the media, you know, not to defend them, especially, you know, the trashy forms of media, but the media is gonna be the media nonetheless. And we do know Harry himself. He hasn't exactly been a shining star in the media. He's been on the receiving end of a lot of media onslaught over the years for different things, you know, most notably for when he wore his Nazi outfit and stuff like that. And
people forget that too.
Yeah, I mean, he was partying, man. It's all good. He got pictures with Kanye, man, and I think I seen a picture with him and Kanye, and I don't know who else, but I digress. So yeah, no, I say that because, you know, it's just interesting because that's another thing I want to look at, just the celebritization of this thing, you know. But before we get into that, you know, as we've got this open, let's have a look at this article, because this will lead on to where we can go afterwards. So this says Buckingham Palace has issued a statement in response to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's interview with Oprah Winfrey, saying issues of race are concerning and will be addressed. Now, it said somewhere that it will be addressed privately. So it says, following the explosive interview airing in full on UK television last night. Okay, so it aired on UK TV now. So I did say earlier, I'm not sure when it would, so we can clarify that it has. It says the whole family is saddened to learn the full extent of how challenging the last few years have been for Harry and Meghan. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. So it says Harry, Meghan, and Archie will always be much loved family members. Okay. So it says pressure's been mounting on the palace to respond to accusations of racism in the royal family following the program, which was first broadcast in the US on Sunday night. The Duchess claimed that one member of the royal household had several conversations with Harry and raised concerns about son Archie's skin color before he was born and what that would mean or look like. So I don't know if I can find a picture of Archie's skin color.
How dark your baby is going to be?
You said, is he that
potentially
dark?
And what that would mean or look like.
Ooh. And you're not going to tell me who had the conversation?
I think that would be very damaging to them.
Okay, so she hasn't gotten to name them. We see that reported by mainstream media, Sky News. It's been said that Tyler Perry had housed them initially when they...
I heard that.
I heard Godfrey speaking on it. Yeah, he said Tyler Perry had housed them and offered them, you know, some form of security and stuff.
Yeah, I heard that.
You know, which is quite interesting. So I haven't checked out this interview in its entirety. I will make a point to check out some of it. What do you think of this Meghan Markle? I mean, I don't know. Does she look very sincere? Is she a professional actress? I don't know.
Well, she is a professional actress. You know, it's funny as well, man, because I was looking at some of her movies today, man. It's just the covers of the movies.
Haven't seen any. What's her biggest title?
Oh man, what was it? There are also B-list, Z-list kind of movies, man. There's no big movies that you would know. Like, there's nothing that you would know. I can't even remember the names of them that I saw today. Okay. But it's funny because even on the like covers and that, she doesn't even look as dark as she looks there. Like,
yeah, I mean, well, you can see out here. I think she wearing, you know, quite a bit of makeup and stuff, and but you know, I mean, this guy in the background, he darker. No, I just say that because they're worried about the skin color of Archie. I don't really think, you know, whoever said that there's much credence to that worry. Does this mean that they're following, I guess, the notion of the one drop rule, and they see sort of that way? Because I mean, you know, it's a whole different topic within itself if we to go into identity as a construct. Now, I always say to people, you know, especially when using the English language, I'm just as bound by these terrestrial terms as everybody else. So I didn't create this terminology or these words. I gotta use them. And some of them, I may use them how it was foundational to me. So I don't want nobody saying I'm being politically incorrect and stuff. And oh, so that's why I try to avoid from labeling people as this, that, and the other. That's why people know me. I say no squares allowed. So you want to label yourself. Yeah, I don't know what you want to label yourself as, but I know when it comes to identity, it's a whole different thing, which is a different topic within itself, because you mentioned it earlier about whether she feels she got past being lighter, because when we talk about being black, somebody ain't gonna look at somebody like me and you and say, are you Filipino? Are you where are you from? Are you from Russia? I mean, I'm not saying you can't be from any of these places national wide, but they're gonna see you as a black person. So when it comes to some people that I guess mixed and not even mixed, because you got some even black people that can come light skin, like even that movie I mentioned and stuff, so we look at colorism and how it functions in society and how people are treated different. Once again, I revert back to Dr. Francis Cresswell, who spoke about in the ISIS papers and said, there's a psychological functioning where it's, if you black, get back. If you brown, stick around. If you yellow, you mellow. If you white, you all right. So within those kind of color spectrums of how they treat people, you see a bit of a difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? And I don't want to, again, put people in boxes or labels and stuff like that. But, when the word gets bandied about, like, oh, yeah, Meghan black, I do feel like if she was as dark as me or you, she wouldn't even have got this far. You understand? I don't think she would even have got this far.
No, very true.
So I definitely felt she was going to get the pass. And I don't think...
Believing you saying that, can I just proves to the point, because I think with a lot of our people, and I know there's other people that are interested in this, but there's sort of like a clinginess onto certain people when it suits them. What's the demarcation, because it's like somebody said, for instance, remember Halle Berry a few years ago, and when I was growing up and I used to see Halle Berry on TV and stuff, I always looked at Halle Berry as a black woman.
She was black to me. Halle Berry was black.
I never looked at her as any different,
It's true, until she said it.
But we've seen her say, and we've seen, others over the years, even Tiger Woods, and people catch flack, and some people may look at somebody and not call them black. So I think there's a clinginess where in a situation like this, which is why I said I was going to wait till after where we've got here now, where we're just talking about the celebritization of people and how people are ruled by vicariously wanting to live through other people, and sometimes people that they've bought into a superficial identity of them being more superior to them, because like you said, looking at a function of racism and white supremacy that sounds and tells a lie of black inferiority based on skin color and just other erroneous assertions, but something like that's been deeply implanted into people's minds, especially in society, feel as though there's an easier way for them to function if they're light-skinned or they're treated in a different type of way and stuff. So this in some sense, some could say this could be a wake-up call for other people from dual heritage and stuff as well, or other people that are light-skinned that feel as though that acceptance is there for them. What's interesting is within the UK, I've traveled around and been to more non-ethnic areas, and I've met people there from dual heritage and stuff, and some of them have been like, oh my dad was a Jamaican, this about I ain't seen him in years, and some of them have even talked about what it was like for them. Not that I've asked them, just random stuff, like I've been in a bar club. I'm trying to have a drink, mate. I ain't even trying to get in one of these. I'm not trying to get in one of these conversations, especially in an area like this, like around all these. I'm like, what? Like, just chill, man. Like, you coming to tell me, like, yeah, okay, like, yeah. They're gonna think we started a new gang, but so yeah, but they come and some of them will be like, this is what's going on. They've always treated me like, certain things. So it's kind of crazy when we look at that as a dynamic within itself. But I was just saying, a lot of people, I feel as though they're idolizing Meghan for her achievement as a woman, in the sense of, you know, as you know, let's take the story. You know, black woman from America, you know, marries prince from England. You know, it's like it's like a Disney.
It's like a Disney thing, yeah. And like now they're feeling like, oh shit, we now have we've got our Disney princess. Even though there's a few out there, obviously, you know, we got Jasmine and things like that. But you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's like they took this story and related it to themselves and made them feel as if, like, I don't know, like Zaddy's gonna accept them too. You know what I'm trying to say? Like that's how I kind of felt, man, because, you know, I've met chicks like Meghan Markle in the hood. And it's funny how you mentioned, like, when you go to more non-ethnic areas, and when you see biracial people in them areas, so a lot of the time they're referred to as black by white people. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you know, I even met a guy, his name's Mickey Wayne, and he said, he's mixed race. He says, yeah, around there they call me Black Mick. You know what I'm trying to say? But then when you are more like in the hood or whatever, like, and you get biracial people, then even we don't say, oh, they're black. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, you know, and especially with females, like with girls, like, you know, and this is where this whole colorism stuff and all that comes in again. Like, but I feel like, you know, when we were younger and there was a young mixed race girl, she tried to identify as black. Black girls will be quick to tell her she ain't black. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that's you hit an important note. Sorry to cut you, bro, but because I feel as though sometimes it's not just about the emphasis on other people acting out colorism, because a lot of colorism is always acted out internally. You know, internally within black communities, internally within Asian and brown communities, we see stuff like that too, in other communities. But a lot of it stem from the function of as you mentioned earlier, racism and white supremacy. If you give me a second, I'd recommend this book about, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see the title, but it's an educational guide to where race come from. You probably ain't gonna see it with the screen. Now this is by David Dalgleish.
Okay.
So and it's called Where Does Race Come From? And it's an education guide, and it breaks down. It's actually, you know, let me see if I'll give you if I can show you this. It gives you like timelines on stuff on how some of these concepts and axioms were brought in. So give me a second. So we give like timelines and stuff, and goes into where race come from. They go to cover.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out, to be fair. I'm gonna check that out.
So I just wanted to bring that up quickly. And oh no, I'm in the wrong joint. Let me get back in the right joint. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta get back in the right joint. So so I wanted to bring that up because, especially as we were just talking about racism and the idea of it, and you know, we just want to make it clear that we're looking at the function of it. So this colorism concept that has been brought into different nations and cultures and people, it has, you know, developed the idea of, you know, light being better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the things when we was younger, as you said, it was the same. We had that where even for us, and you know, when we was growing up, it was the same. Like, we knew people, we classed people, for the most part, we classed people as just a different group, you know. So it's just like Caribbeans were classed as a group, then they classed Africans as a group, then, you know, they classed Asians was all like in one group. Indians, they didn't even really get into unless you knew them that much to say, okay, they from Bangladesh or they from there and that. But
yeah. It's just like one group, innit? Like,
So for a lot of times, I think for people from dual heritage, depends on what side of the family they grew up around. Some of them, if they grew up around the quote unquote black family, you wouldn't necessarily treat them any different, but like you said, you may not call them black because in some aspects, because you'd be like I've got a cousin who's mixed, his mom's Chinese, so but we're never looking. I've never had to label him as anything, but you know what I mean. Yeah. But it's so I guess it's one of those ones. I think we did a podcast on it a few months ago where we said, I think when it comes to interracial relationships and just mixing and different dynamics, I don't want to sound biased, but we feel as though blacks, for the most part, so the most accepting in that dynamic, or the most universal, just with accepting people in that sense, where there's a harsher stigma when it comes to you being black, when it comes to other people, as we see in point in case with this situation, where do you feel as if she was like an Indian, like Priti Patel or something, would there be as much as an issue?
Personally, I think they probably would, just because of how the family's set up. You know what I'm saying? I definitely feel they would. I don't feel maybe she might even be has been championed as much by other people as well. That's the thing. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the fact that she's got black in her, I feel like that's what more made people champion her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I do feel like there would have been a bit of backlash for her if she was Indian too. I definitely feel like if she was Asian of any kind of, I feel she would have got that too. Definitely.
So you think it's just more of a case down to the royal family wanting to keep the royal family white?
Yeah. Because again, when we go back to the words like racism, for them it's deeper than like races not liking each other. Sometimes you might like the other race, but they are white supremacists.
Yes.
They practice white supremacy. So they're always going to want their family bloodline to be pure white. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I take it. That's why they made the decision to strip, to say Andrew. What's the kid's name? Archie. That's it. To say that Archie can't be a prince. You know what I'm saying? Because he would have been in line to be a prince. He would be a prince.
Okay, so is that an official decree that he?
I'm not sure if that's even official or not. That's just what I've been hearing. I don't know if that's official. I don't know if that's official. Because I remember when it's funny you say it, because I remember when I used to work for a company, we used to sell like the Queen's coins and shit like that, and they had Prince Archie coins. It said Prince Archie, and these are made by the mint and stuff like that. So it's kind of to me, I don't know. I think he did have the title, and now they're saying that I'm sure even there she said it in this Oprah interview that he won't be a prince. But I'm sure he is considered a prince. I don't know. Because it's interesting, even like people talk about them having their title stripped, but then even in the article that you showed us just now, he still had their titles in there, the Duke and Duchess.
No, they did. So,
I don't know what's that about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've seen a lot of movies. I'm looking at this picture. I know you can't really judge somebody off a picture, but I don't see that much distress. I don't wish ill for people like that. So, hopefully they're not under any distress. More power to them if they're not. But I won't be losing any sleep over them because I feel as though the position that they're in, it's not the worst. How much? I don't know how much. Apparently, was it maybe 10 million they got for this interview? I don't know. It's been said.
It's gotta be somewhere in that region because Oprah, Oprah dropped the bag for these interviews, man. You know what I'm saying? She dropping the bag.
What do you think about doing the interview with Oprah? Do you think that sends a message? I mean, I know Oprah doesn't particularly have that much solid credence in one capacity within the black community as she may have at one point. A lot of people have been canceled Oprah. There's but I ain't want to slam Oprah. I don't agree with nobody's perfect, and I don't know her personally, so I won't make too much harsh judgments on anything that she's done or hasn't done. But I feel as though what she has done and some of the stuff that she's been a part of that's been, memorable and significant. She's built herself a stable image you know, just that mothering type, and especially for when it comes to for the interviews, people can go and they can, you know, you sort of bear role with Oprah and you know, be their real self. But I found with this interview, it seemed, I don't want to say staged, but they seemed very still constricted. Usually when people get on them Oprah interviews, you know, they mad emotional. You know, I'm not saying.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I haven't seen, and I say that because I haven't seen all of this. I'm gonna put that out there. But from the little clips I've seen, it seems like more of a, like, not like a, you know, like when you see the, like an interview with somebody doing a promo for a movie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, you have to look at it like this, man. Like, at the end of the day, they're talking about them being cut off and all this kind of stuff, and you know, they need to make money. And Oprah dropping the bag, because to me, yeah, the thing is this: like, all right, what is your aim with this interview? Like, what were they trying to, you know, convey? What message were they trying to convey? And the only thing that I've got out of it so far is that the royal family is racist. Okay, great, cool. We knew this, yeah? So who are you trying to tell this to? Like, if we didn't all know this already.
Yeah.
You know, and I just feel like,
but it's not like a sob story, but because I mean, a lot of my emojis and responses to this stuff has been, you know, yawn face, cry me a river, you know, but because as you said, if we want to get into the crux of you know, racism and white supremacy, and especially those that are harshly affected and subjected to conditions on a daily basis, to me that far supersedes people that are in the monarch and you know, to a degree have a certain level of comfort and lifestyle within this whole societal paradigm. So I don't feel as though you know, okay, huge uproar about this now, because as you said, it's something that a lot of people know exists in some ways. But if anything can be used as an axiom to spark some good conversation and you know, make people change and look at their ways, then that's always a good thing. But yeah, just the timing of it, I do sort of question a bit.
You know, that's the thing. You have to remember, like, anytime these people drop these kind of big bombshells and these big interviews, and you know, there's usually other stuff that's going on, you know. And right now, you have to think we're in a lockdown. People are looking into things more. People are taking their time to study certain things, and certain times people, they just want us to, you know, be distracted sometimes. Plain and simple, you know. And this is why I had to question it. So why are you going to see Oprah? Why is Oprah wanting this interview so bad? And why does, you know? And it's obviously going to be a great conversational piece. It's going to get people talking for a good few days. You know, it might be entertaining to some, I don't know. But, you know, I just feel like there's probably other things that's going on that they don't want us to focus on. Personally.
Damn, I'm here jumping. I got my phone vibrating in me. I know. Okay. So, yeah, I'm still here. So, yeah, I'm with you. And it's just funny because, as you said, just with the time that we're in now, just it kind of gives me shades of the old movie Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know if it was 87, but anyway, yeah, you know, late 80s. But you know, one of the dope things about that movie is you know, it showed just little tech stuff that we see in society now, like phones that we can, you know, see people on the other side of the screen and you know, things like that, holographic projections and stuff.
Autonomous vehicles and shit.
Yeah. And another dope one that they put out was the Running Man. And the Running Man got a lot of gems in it. But one of the things that stick out to me from the Running Man was they had this TV show that was going on, and you had all these other crazy TV shows that was going on. But it was more to the point that the guy who was running the TV show, he got those convicts there from the government. And there was a few conversations he was having with government officials, and they was like, you know, we need you to get this guy on the show. And he was arguing with them saying, you know, you need me to get ratings. But one of the things that he said, which was crucial, was, hey, he said, you don't want people on the streets and, you know, at picket lines and this and that. It's like, you want people sat in seats and watching entertainment. So it's that's what you kind of pay me for. So I always thought that was significant, but that's lends credence to where we're at now, what you just said, man. But with that being said, we're gonna pick back up on, I guess, some of this story as it continues. Don't forget to let us know your guys' thoughts on this or some of your experiences in the UK and how you feel. So yeah, family, you already know, stay up, stay woke, and always look out for your folks.